If you've ever wanted one of these but don't know where everyone is getting them, you can now buy them through my link in the description to support myself and Yan, who runs Borders GG. You can pick your champion, your skin, your summoner spells, your rank border, your IGN, and even the icon you want on it, and they're super high quality. As you can see, nothing pixelated here, and they have raised edges on a hard backboard, so it'll never break or warp. Everything you need is down below, of course, and you get a tasty little discount as well. Now, moving forward in this video will contain spoilers for the best of 3 in the first stand semis between G2 and Gen G. Now, I don't say this lightly, but one of the most insane international series between G2 and tournament favorite Gen G just happened, but not for the reasons that you might think. In fact, it was such a monumental series that the viewership peaked at over 1.25 million viewers, according to esports charts. And that's not including China. So today, we're going to go over all the highlights to break down exactly how everything went so right or so wrong. Before we even get into the games, here's some backstory. Gen G came into this final as the clear favourites. They'd swept both China's JDG and NA's Lion 3-0 in the group stage without dropping a single game. Meanwhile, G2 had actually gone through the lower bracket after dropping to BLG, had to grind their way back through, and nearly didn't even make it to this tournament at all. They barely scraped into LEC playoffs, almost getting knocked out by Los Ratones in 7th place. So on paper, this series was meant to be a gimme for Gen G. On paper. Let's get into game 1. Finishing first component, Scuman looks to kick things off for G2 with a gank onto an immobile ruler Ashe, and a true hook from Lebrov's Nautilus makes it happen.
Control ward. Yep. Making sure that he's there for a counter gank based spot. Scuman out as Canyon looking to move in, but Ruler is already in so much trouble. First blood to Hans Sama! And yesterday he was certainly the linchpin of this squad. That's going to continue here as he gets the most money.
As Duro goes to prep for an upcoming dragon, he has a bit of a run-in with Caster's Curse, and again, Lebrov's hook lands true.
Yeah, I would say the next possible repeat kill could be on Seraphine on bottom. What?
Well, speaking of which, yeah, Duro just caught in rotation. Really nice quick start pull out of Scuman.
How does the rest of the script go? Does this look good for G2? Is it looking positive?
And shortly after, looking for revenge, FaZe Ruler hits a snipe on a hard-pushing Caps for a tasty gold injection to his mid laner, but not without response from G2's bot lane onto Duro.
But right after burning flashes in bottom lane, then getting yourself in dangerous territory. Ashe arrow.
Arrow going to connect there. Let's see whether Trophy does have enough damage here. The Justice Punch comes through, and there's the Colossal Smash. And Gen G are on the board. Duro is going to be punished for it, though, as Hans Sama takes him down with some bullet time.
As Chovy looks to gain information for his team, a roaming Lebrov and Scumond team up again as the support and jungle gap widens.
Utility here with the early deaths, because the damage
yeah.
the damage might not be there.
Well, Chovy does not quite find a taunt there, and another hook from Lebrov is fantastic. They could be able to take the Gargoyle down, and in fact, they absolutely will, as Caps manages to get that last hit before the heroic entrance comes down.
Looking to continue their 100% taking of the objectives, and early moving G2 starts Herald. But is this the time that Gen G fights back?
Look at Chovy from bottom lane. If he roams a little closer, then he can threaten Galio ult, but Sam's just going to teleport now.
Yep, they're teleporting in. Let's see whether Canyon can get on towards this Rift Herald, as I don't think it's going to happen, as it is going to be secured there by Scumon. Now Broken Blade gets into that front line, but he's taking a lot of damage. Knockout from the Q only connects onto Canyon. He's not too worried about it with that Crescent Guard running as Keen gets into that backline, but doesn't have the dominance, and there is the bullet time, but it's eaten by Chovy's heroic exit. Just escapes the situation as Canyon looking to try and escape on the other side. It is still a win for G2, and we'll see whether they can take down Canyon as well.
He's chasing, but I think Canyon should be able to walk his way out of this one. He's got his tier 2 boots as well.
Yeah, tier 2 versus just the brown bags or the free ones.
They're going to trap him. Teleport here.
All right, Caps should be able to make his way forward. Just needs an auto, and in fact doesn't need anything at all. Going to be able to lock down that kill onto the jungler as Chovy moves on over, but knows there's a man advantage here for G2, and it just everything keeps coming up G2 with this game.
And the onslaught doesn't stop there, as Scumon's Pantheon is everywhere and collapses onto an unguarded Chovy.
Biggest threat on G2's side as the ulti's chuck top lane.
Yeah, Grand Starfall is going to come on through here as Chovy does have to flash, but I don't think it's going to save him as the Aegis comes out, and Caps is going to lock down a killing spree.
With an awkward dance at the third dragon, G2 make sure not to play their hand too early and find an opening onto an unsuspecting Keen. But with G2 numbers bot side, Hans Sama has to burn his flash.
It had the ultimate to arrive in time, but also G2 saying, do we need to force a 4v5 when we can just save our stuff for a play like this?
Well, that is going to be Keen taken down once again. Caps is just picking up kill after kill here as he goes towards the bottom lane to do the same thing.
Following the trend of basically every one of G2's kills this game, Skewman heads mid lane with his grand Starfall. But Hansama counts his chickens before they hatch and a limping Ruler is given a lifeline.
Hans did lose his flash in mid lane, which could really hurt him as we get later into the game, but
Ruler.
Yeah, Ruler is very, very
He's
dead.
very hurt.
Oh, actually able to barrier that last little bit of damage. As now the encore comes forward, the double charm is fantastic. Underneath that turret there as well as Labrov trying to get his way out. Canyon really wants to punish that positioning as Wind Becomes Lightning is not enough to do anything at all, and G2 managed to walk it off.
After a mostly stagnant midsection, Gen.G find a tempo opening and look to rush a sneaky Baron. Is this their chance, or does a gap widen?
To bring Broken Blade into the fight, but this Baron is going down extraordinarily quickly. Ruler just pumping these arrows into it. Labrov making his way over. And Skewmont off towards the back of the pit, but it looks like they might just be rushing this one down. Can the steal actually come on through? As Skewmont waiting to get on in there, flashes forward. Who's going to get the smite? It is going to go to G2! As Canyon with that Crescent Guard just desperately trying to stay alive. But Broken Blade gets into the back line. Justice Punch is decent there from Chovy as well, trying to hold him in position as he goes golden at the same time. Gen.G still kind of alive in the fight, and Cap says no, they are not alive in this fight. Atlas down they will go as he wipes out the bottom lane. The Grand Starfall's there as well, and G2 may have just stamped this game in game number 1.
Following G2 making the most of that Baron and securing Dragon Soul and all 3 inhibitors, a seemingly insurmountable push may break the Gen.G Nexus.
The optimal target there as Canyon might also be taken down, but there are all 3 inhibitors lying on the floor. It's only a matter of time before G2 are able to take down these Nexus turrets as Canyon realizes that he goes in, but Skewmont is so tanky, man.
Caps working his way towards the Nexus towers, both will fall. G2 doing this tutorial style, not giving Gen.G anything left in their base. The minions, I mean, the Baron buff is worn off, but they don't need any more of the hook connects.
Yeah, another hook is fantastic there out of Labrov as Canyon just realizes that he has to go in. Ruler trying to dance around the battlefield, but it does not work. Even Skewmont survives. How did that even happen? As Caps is just dashing, flashing onto the fountain to try and get the last kill, and finally, G2 are going to take down the Nexus. What a statement here.
Yeah, look, I don't know either. It just looked like Gen.G were actually asleep this game. Just so many plays were unresponded, and G2's jungle support play was a lot more coordinated. I mean, Skewman was ahead in farm and kill participation the entire game, and while Juro was getting picked, Labrov was making the picks. But, of course, it's Gen.G, and they're never a team to count out. Let's get into game 2. Showing it wasn't a fluke, G2's bot lane aggresses and come out swinging at level 3, and shortly after, an unbased Ruler is again met by Skewman.
In the Braum can then immediately apply that passive, and in teamfights especially, that's where it can get very scary for the Alistar. We'll have the Unbreakable, of course, and Ultimate providing a lot of assistance, but Duro set his sights onto Hans.
Yeah, he's going in, doesn't find the Pulverize though, unfortunately, as Ruler has to deal with the door out of Labrov, and Duro is just dead. First blood going over to Hansama once again, 2 games in a row, and Ruler, he also has to flash 2 autos, would have meant the death of him.
Almost they threaten a potential dive.
They for sure could, because they forced Duro back to base here.
It's slow though, the wave isn't dying super quickly. They need to get here quick. Here comes Vi as well.
Yeah, Ruler, let's see whether he can actually survive this one. I don't think he's going to be able to. Gets a shield. And the last tick is enough to do it. Labrov locks down the second one for G2.
After a bit of trading objectives, Gen.G looked to make a play onto Broken Blade Cassante. That's having to play into Keen Vayne top, by the way. And honestly, this 1v4 was so sick and oh so close. And to be honest, this play seemed worth for G2 as they take mid and top tower with Caps getting solo XP the entire time. The Europeans are here to contest.
Sometimes that just... I'm really sorry about that, man.
I want to say really good
That's
point,
all right.
Atlas, because... wait a second.
Broken Blade could be in a little bit of trouble here as can eat some of the CC, but not all of it. And Alistar does have a fair bit. Canyon comes down as well. Season is this, man, they are really throwing the kitchen sink at him. But that flash was so good. Canyon will be able to get over that wall to take him down, but it costs him a flash and probably this mid lane outer turret as well. G2 on the cross map looking real good.
Yeah, cross map is beautiful. They may even get a second
Yeah,
tower.
top lane as well.
Caps continues to push in. That bot tower going to be chipped away at from the side of Gen.G. The Herald's going to be sent up towards the top lane. I think Skewmont's more interested in the camps. I'm not going to... Oh, wait.
In a mountain rift as well, being able to get through that wall. Obviously, does just move him towards the enemy Krug camp as G2 Caps will be able to take down this outer turret. There it is. Shelly gets involved.
With Labrov warding in anticipation for Baron, Gen.G think they found a pick, but a flank from Broken Blade deals a reverse guard.
Actually still well positioned to pull G2 across the map.
They're going to dive on top of Lebrov here as well, who is rotating down to try and protect this mid lane. He should be going down, although stands beside Skewmon here, who gets into that front lane. Now the teleport in from Broken Blade will be interrupted there by Canyon, but not for long, as Keen is going to get taken out first. Lebrov still amongst it as they take down the cow. G2 cannot be stopped in this series as they win another team fight.
Taking down a Hexplate Vayne under tower seems like a pretty daunting task, but as the European confidence mounts, a flash save from Lebrov gives G2 a very big net positive, and they turn to Baron.
Zehen,
Well, they do have a lot of 80 carries on the MVT.
I know, right? It's just like armor boots are the way that King forced to flash.
Yeah, final hour does come down there as well as he is on the gravity well. The Arcane Storm comes down, and I don't think he's going to be able to survive this one. The AoE damage just a little bit too much. Broken Blade might be punished for it, as Nevermind just limps out of the way and is even thinking about coming back for more, as Duro now possibly in trouble as Caps. A lot of damage available to himself as well, as Canyon just nowhere that he can go, as the flash through from Skewmon should be the end of him as Hansama finishes it off, and in the meantime, the cow is also dead.
In response, Genji looked to build toward their Dragon Soul win con, but not with that response from G2.
It's like he should be able to. Grim Deliverance is available as well. He can definitely get into the back of this pit. Let's see whether he uses a headbutt from Duro to make sure that this Drake does go over to Genji. And I think Canyon is just going to sacrifice himself to try and get themselves the dragon and get out. But I don't think this is a winning the game play.
Knowing Zahen is top, Genji looked to force onto G2 bot lane, but an almost 8,000 gold lead is going to be hard to fight into.
They are looking scared. They are looking ruffled into G2 here. As that is a cleanse to come on out here. Genji still trying to look for a little bit of a punish. Duro in that front line will be able to stun up Broken Blade. Silver Bolt's coming on down as Chovy diving on in there, finds the charm onto the Cassante. A decent pulverize onto two, but Broken Blade just flashes his way out. A lot of damage here from Caps as well, but he's very low on mana. There's the all out to make sure that Keen is just destroyed in this battle, and Genji just did not have enough to take down G2. It's a double for Hansama as he's untouched on the Varus.
In similar fashion to last game, G2 continue to use their lead and take every single thing off the map. The next Dragon, Baron, and all three inhibs. How can play?
Bingo cards.
Yes, they did. Lord actually did.
Actually,
She very much did. All right, well, there's the pulverize onto three. Let's see whether they can actually find an angle as G2. These wallets are so heavy as Caps does get exhausted for a few moments. They've taken down Hansama. There's the shutdown going over to Keen as Caps goes golden for a moment, but I don't think he's escaping this one. Wants to take Chovy with him, but it's not going to quite be enough as Genji have found a team fight out of nowhere. Still, they'll need a few more of these if they want to win the game, and it's a decent start for a comeback.
Oh, that's how. Duro Alistar. That was sick. With a breath of life in the sails of Genji, they look to defend their bot inhib, but there's still a sizable gold lead over to G2, and it might be too much.
92-minute game. Achilles keeps telling me and I keep getting it wrong. All right, Chovy looking for a bit of an angle. Skewmon, my goodness, taking so much damage here. Does need to invest everything to try and escape. And the Grim Deliverance is fantastic. Skewmon's just being a menace. He will respawn as well. And unfortunately, Canyon does not have the same luxury. Losing their jungler here is Genji, now 4 versus 5, trying to defend their base, or what's left of their base.
They still have a little bit left of the Baron, and they're going to use this to try and end the game. Duro.
Yeah, there's a nice pulverize here from Duro, but I don't think the Unbreakable Will is quite going to be enough there as Lebrov going down so incredibly low, but is going to survive in the end. Chovy looking for an angle, but Keen is going to go down. The headbutt doesn't even do anything. It's the first Nexus turret. It will fall. Ruler has to try and flash away, and he's going to be able to do so, but they're just going to rush the Nexus, and G2 have match point and are looking to clean sweep Genji.
If you're enjoying the content so far, maybe just do a quick solid and check to see if you're subscribed. It'd really mean a lot. And just like that, we move on to straight sets. What's going on? All I can say in this next play is jungle gap.
Wow, very
All
nice
around
trade
the world
fast
is, barrier going to need to be used there from Ruler.
Oh, hell
now
no.
Canyon in a bit of trouble here. Level 5 to level 6. The Cataclysm does come out, gets the flash, and Canyon just has to get out of there.
that is so classic Canyon.
Oh, the flash forward and first blood to Caps!
With Skewmon moving top in anticipation for grubs, a Keen Gwen is sighted and the G2 topside strike.
Given that he had no flash available, but Rocket Belt going to be secured. Personally, a big fan of the Gunblade, but I understand having that extra mobility in the earlier spike is also something I like to see. Ulti?
Yeah, Keen does get into his mist, but everyone else is able to pile in there as well. The Needlework trying to keep him alive. Can he find the snip as Caps comes over and he's going to help lock down this Gwen.
As G2 look to put their second Drake on the board, a hungry Genji circles. And what did Lebrov do to deserve this? Oh, yeah, he picked Lulu.
Try and contest this.
One important thing out of that skirmish on top side, Shen ult was used, so at least G2 don't have that.
Well, they do have Caps moving over first. Chovy going to have to come in a little bit late. Does have the Emperor's Divide and his flash up and available. Caps does have the ulti as well. As there's the flash Pop Blossom. They find the public execution. LeBron goes down before anything can happen, but they immediately trade it for Duro. Emperor's Divide's good this time, but Caps does close the distance once again with another perfect execution. Still, the Drake will go over. It's a 1-for-1, but getting the objective was the main thing.
Dude, Scuman is everywhere and Gen G and nowhere. This gameplay is just very uncharacteristic of Gen G. It's almost weird to watch. But either way, 2 more picks over to G2 as Broken Blade Shen solo kills Chovy's Azir. Dude, credit, it's where it's due, I guess.
Brought out, does throw down the snare, but that does stop the Jarvan from doing too much. We'll find him once again as Dura taking a lot of damage. Cataclysm comes down, holds him down with the Pop Blossom, but I have a feeling he's still dead. There it is, last auto attack is going to do it, and now with Lebrov, so much shield for Skumond here is now Chovy in trouble as Broken Blade just kills him. What was that? They were just winning everywhere.
So Broken Blade is looking at his
has to be.
Yeah, ults underneath, gets hit by the tower shot. He flashes, taunts. He just straight up kills him. That's crazy.
The Q autos just do so much with Titanic Hydra. It is ridiculous. And Chovy didn't have anything left.
And with the lead in gold they have, G2 start moving around the map, breaking outers, taking dragons, stealing camps, and diving Keen.
We'll be able to clear out the wave at least. Keen gets hit by the Flagon Dragon, will just be executed here. Caps finds it with the Shuriken backflip and will just finish off this turret as well.
With basically a free Cloud Soul over to G2, a speedy Skumond looks to team up with Broken Blade for a very synergistic engage, and Keen is absolutely rage baited by this next play. I'd have Alt F4'd my computer and thrown it out the window and then taken the dog for a walk to calm down.
Insanely well
throughout
their run. And Skumond's actually going to maybe go for a fight.
Yeah, finds a knockup onto Canyon, who immediately has to flash away. The Cataclysm's gigantic. Pop Blossom is decent this time around, though, and Ruler is free hitting still. They lose their Nico. They do get onto the Cogmore, though, and manage to take him down, but it's a double for Caps. He is just obliterating Gen G right now, as Keen will finally turn up and look to try and take down Broken Blade, but they're out of there if they want to be, as maybe they're going to look to turn it. There is the taunt onto Keen. The flash wants to take down Caps, but it just doesn't work. Into the mist he goes. Snip, snip, goes the Gwen, but still they're trying to hold him at arm's length. Another taunt, another snip, and a polymorph from Lebrov. Keen will be able to survive as Skumond making his way back once again, and Keen, I don't think he can do this by himself. The Shuriken backflip comes through, and yes, he is just going to have to try and escape, and I don't think this Jarvan is going to let him.
Taking the next Baron, G2 couple that with Gen G's top and bot inhibs, but one thing they can't give over is an Elder Dragon. Let's see how Korea's greatest can test.
That was actually the graph of EU hopium. It's actually just...
It is off the charts right now.
I mean, it's pretty justified in this one as well. That's all right. Let's see whether Gen G can find themselves a miracle as Caps. Great flank angle for the teleport, and Broken Blade just waiting off to the side. Once again, that stands United into a good position. There's the flash forward from Dura. The Emperor's Divide comes down as well as Caps dancing in his shroud, and Chovy so close to dead and will be wiped out. Gen G will all follow soon, and G2 do not need an Elder Dragon to take down the LCK first seed. They are going to march up the bottom lane and complete back-to-back 3-0 victories over the LCK.
It has been 2,323 days since G2 has made it to an international final, but finally they will return to that stage as they slaughter Gen G.
And with that, G2 3-0 clean sweep the most dominant League of Legends team in the world ever, and without much trouble. Across all 3 games, Gen G had like 13 total kills, which is just insane. And after the games, G2 let them know, with Lebrov tweeting that he had more difficulty playing versus Los Returnes, which they definitely did, and Skumond absolutely lost it, having to be calmed down by BB. Take a look.
Oh my god! 3-0, bro! 3-0, bro! Good job, guys. Chill out. No, what do you mean chill out? I don't give a shit, bro! I don't give a shit, man! Shut up, bro! We won! I don't care, man!
The Koreans even joked on Inven that Gen G should be banned from competing internationally. Which, I mean... So yeah, we just saw probably the biggest upset in League history. I just really want to see Gen G win a cup, man. What do you think of the Europeans gameplay? Let me know your thoughts on the series below, and for more League news, be sure to subscribe. Bye!